We cannot control life and death. And when I say we can't control it, in other words, I caught COVID a few years back and I almost died. Come out of the hospital and found out that several of my friends had died from COVID. Millions of Americans died from COVID, that one disease. Over the years, polio and bird flu, Ebola, all these diseases have killed people, not just American people, but just people in general.
In a heartbreaking loss for the world of professional wrestling, Bobby Horn, better known to generations of fans as the charismatic Sir Mo, has passed away at the age of 58. The North Carolina native, whose infectious energy and larger-than-life presence lit up rings across the country, succumbed to complications from a series of severe health battles that had plagued him in recent years. His death was announced late on a Sunday evening, leaving the wrestling community in collective mourning for a man who embodied joy, resilience, and unbreakable spirit. Horn's passing marks the end of an era for tag team specialists and those who remember the vibrant early days of the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now known as WWE. As Sir Mo, he was half of the beloved duo Men on a Mission, a team that brought a refreshing wave of positivity and showmanship to an industry often defined by grit and aggression. His booming laugh, quick wit, and ability to connect with audiences made him a standout, turning every match into a celebration of unity and entertainment. It is with great sadness that we share the news that Bobby Horn, known to wrestling fans around the world as Sir Mo of Men on a Mission, has passed away, read the poignant announcement from those close to his career. The tribute continued, praising how Horn made his mark in the wrestling world with his infectious energy, booming personality, and unmistakable charisma. It highlighted his unique blend of positivity, showmanship, and unity that injected a fresh burst of life to WWF programming during the early 1990s, a time when the promotion was evolving into a global powerhouse. Born in North Carolina, Horn grew up in a world far removed from the spotlight of professional wrestling. The son of hardworking parents in a modest community, he discovered his passion for athletics early on, excelling in football and track during high school. But it was the spectacle of wrestling, watching legends like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair dominate the airwaves, that ignited a fire in him. Wrestling wasn't just a job for me, it was a way to make people smile, to forget their troubles for a night, Horn once reflected in an interview, his voice carrying the warmth of a lifelong performer. Horn's journey into the squared circle began in earnest in 1991, when he trained under veteran mentors on the independent scene. His natural athleticism and magnetic personality quickly caught the eye of scouts. By 1993, he had signed with the WWF, debuting as part of the colorful tag team Men on a Mission alongside the towering Mabel, who portrayed the rapping giant Viscera. The duo's gimmick was a deliberate departure from the era's edgier characters. They entered arenas to upbeat hip-hop beats, dressed in vibrant purple and gold, promoting messages of self-love and community. Sir Mo, with his knightly mustache and regal flair, served as the team's hype man, cutting promos that blended humor with heartfelt calls for positivity. Their run in the WWF from 1993 to 1996 was a highlight of Horn's career, capturing the imagination of younger fans who saw in Men on a Mission a fun, inclusive alternative to the more intense rivalries. The team's crowning achievement came on March 28, 1994, at WrestleMania X in Madison Square Garden. In a shocking upset, Sir Mo and Mabel defeated the veteran duo of the Quebecers to win the WWF Tag Team Championship. The victory, though short-lived as they dropped the belts weeks later, cemented Horn's legacy as a champion. That night in New York, with the crowd roaring, "It felt like we'd conquered the world," Horn later shared. The win wasn't just about gold. It symbolized the underdog's triumph, a theme that resonated deeply in an industry full of giants. Beyond the WWF spotlight, Horn's dedication to the craft shone brightest on the independent circuit, where he spent the bulk of his two-decade career. As a tag team specialist, he crisscrossed the United States, partnering with a rotating cast of wrestlers to rack up multiple championships in promotions from the Carolinas to the Midwest. His matches were masterclasses in teamwork, often featuring high-energy spots and crowd-pleasing antics that kept fans on their feet. Horn's reliability and mentorship role endeared him to younger talents. He was known for pulling aside rookies after shows, offering advice on pacing, psychology, and the importance of giving back to the business. His contributions were formally recognized in later years with inductions into prestigious halls of fame. In 2015, he was honored by the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame for his enduring impact on the region's scene. 3 years later, the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame welcomed him, celebrating his role in Southern wrestling's golden age. These accolades were more than plaques to Horn. They were validations of a life spent lifting others, both literally in the ring and figuratively through his encouragement. Yet, for all his triumphs, Horn's final chapter was shadowed by a relentless series of health struggles that tested his indomitable will. Diagnosed with kidney failure in his mid-40s, he underwent a life-saving transplant in 2018, a procedure that bought him precious time but came with ongoing complications. The COVID-19 pandemic struck a cruel blow in 2022, landing him in intensive care with a severe case that required weeks of ventilation. Mere months later, he faced emergency hernia surgery, emerging weaker but no less determined. Horn was candid about his battles, using social media as a platform to update fans and raise awareness. In a raw video from late July, filmed from his hospital bed, he opened up about a 3-year ordeal with intestinal issues. "My colon hasn't worked in 3 years," he said, his voice steady despite the pain. "But I'm still here fighting because that's what we do in this business, we get back up." That resilience inspired thousands, turning his page into a beacon of hope for others grappling with chronic illness. Tragedy escalated earlier this month when Horn was rushed to the ICU with a severe blood infection and pneumonia, conditions that overwhelmed his already fragile system. A fundraiser launched to cover mounting medical bills for Horn and his devoted wife, Denise Jones, detailed the gravity: ventilators, antibiotics, and round-the-clock care. "He's fighting for his life," wrote fellow wrestler Ryzen, who had teamed with Horn in recent outings at Soar Wrestling Worldwide in Dallas. Ryzen's post captured the fraternity's anguish, noting how Horn's big heart matched his big personality, and how he'd mentored so many in the Dallas scene. Tributes poured in from across the wrestling world following the announcement. Veterans who shared locker rooms with him recalled his pranks and pep talks, while modern stars hailed him as a pioneer of feel-good wrestling. "Sir Mo taught us that you don't need to be the biggest or the meanest to make an impact. Just be real," one peer posted. Fans, too, shared stories of how men on a mission sparked their love for the sport, with childhood memories of chanting along to their entrance theme. Horn is survived by his wife Denise, a pillar of strength through his trials, along with a host of extended family, including siblings and nieces and nephews who often joined him at ringside. In lieu of flowers, his loved ones have requested donations to wrestling charities supporting performers' health needs, a fitting nod to a man who gave everything to the ring and its people. Bobby Horn's departure leaves a void, but his legacy endures in every tag team high-five, every crowd chant, and every wrestler who dares to smile through the spotlight. Sir Mo didn't just wrestle. He celebrated life in the chaos of the canvas. As the wrestling world pauses to honor him, one thing is clear. His mission, of joy, unity, and unyielding positivity, lives on, echoing through arenas long after the final bell. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to daily updates and never miss a video.